Hey guys, so today we got a 2020 Toyota, I believe it's a CHR. I have labels on it, but I think it was told it was a CHR. I got to take the spoiler off today because I got to tint this window, and to get in here it's very difficult to try to cut the film at an angle and not get it all jagged and then try to shrink it. I mean, it's possible you can do it. It just makes it more difficult because for me to get a blade in here and actually cut, and then I have to slide the film down and then mold it. It's just a lot more work, and then you might have to fight the film. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take off the wiper, and then we're gonna go inside, and then we're gonna start taking this part off. Pull up on both sides, and then pull back. And there's a 10mm bolt right here. I'm gonna take it off. I'm sorry, 10mm nut. Now, what's important before you take this wiper off is what I always like to do is see where it's sitting here on the glass, okay? For example, this is sitting right across this bottom defroster. So when I go to put this wiper back on, I want to make sure I lay it back down here and not lower or higher up. So I always make sure to take that into account before I start yanking and pulling it off. So I'm noticing that it goes right across this bottom defroster here. So when I put it back on, I'll know that that's where it's going to go. So then what you want to do is you just kind of want to wiggle this thing. It should just pop up. Now when I lay it down on my table over here on the side, I always lay it the way that it sits on the car. So if it was sitting this way, I would lay it this way, because sometimes when you're working you forget and you're like, oh man, which way did this thing go? So I'll know that it goes in just like that. I want to go ahead and open this up. First thing I'm going to do is just gonna take this little cover out of here so it's not in my way. And it's just basically just wrapped around with here, and then the same thing on the bottom. It's got like little materials. Just take it off. Just lay that down. I'll just lay that down there. I am going to be tinting this vehicle, so I'm just going to put a drop cloth down just to make sure it doesn't get wet. Okay, so first things first, we're going to go ahead and pull out this piece up here. So we're going to go ahead and pull this piece off. It should just unclip right from the top. And then work your way in the middle. Sometimes it likes to clip itself back on the side. So it has 4 clips there. And it's got little tiny little clips that clip onto the sides there. Okay. Lay that down there. So there is bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? There's 6 of them there. And then we got to pull these covers off. So it has some kind of a clips over here. One back here. Same thing on that side. And there, I believe there's a couple more bolts on the back of that. Here it's not a big deal. You can probably get these off, but I'm using a smaller 10 mil instead of the bigger one that I normally use, the one I used on the outside. The reason I'm using this one is because I can magnetize it. I can stick it here in my magnetizer, and now it comes almost magnetized. This one I can't get it in there, so in case I don't want these bolts dropping in here, because then they're a nightmare to get out. I also have a magnet, so when you're pulling it out, you can put your magnet next to it as well. So we're going to go ahead and take those off real quick. If you're just careful, you should be okay. But just never be too careful. Sometimes that it doesn't want to bring out the nut. These ones are a little bit, you can grab them right here. These ones are a little bit easier to grab. And these are all the same size. I mean, obviously, if you can get your finger in there, great. Just gotta be careful that, like, I just can't luckily this does have a little bit of magnetic. It doesn't have a lot. It magnetizes a little bit more. Some sockets it just doesn't magnetize as good, but nevertheless. Got it. Okay. So those are those there. So now we're gonna go ahead and remove this plastic piece here. So we do have, looks like we have 2 clips here. Try doing this backwards. Okay. And you don't want to pull this off. It looks like it's double-sided taped right here. So let me bring you in here and show you these little clips that I'm talking about here. Hopefully you can see those right there. So what I did is I just took my door panel tool. Instead of using it this way, I went backwards because of the angle. If I go like this, I can't get in there. The angle won't give me the angle to like get far enough in there to like pop it off. But you basically just got to work your way in there with something. Just break those loose. Let me see. And then on this side, let me see what we got. You can just push down and there's a 10mm nut in there. So the reason you don't want to pull this whole thing off is because this is double-sided taped here on this. So if you pull that off, you're gonna have to put new double-sided tape on there, which we don't want to do. Now, let's see if I could get in here with my drill. And that's why you got to be careful. At least it fell out here and it didn't fall in there. Can't really get my magnet in there. So you just got to be careful. You don't want to drop that inside of here and then try to fight it. Might be able to still get it if it fell right there. Pull down right here. Get my little the reason it's hard is because I'm trying to hold this plastic piece. I'm not pulling it out. There we go. Now I'm gonna take the clips off on the side. Same thing I did over there. The same thing. You just want to pop the clip off. I mean, if it comes out, that's fine. This one came out. The other ones stayed on the actual rubber piece. Can actually probably go from behind and pop it like that. Now you do have to pop those out because that's what's holding the wing end at the end. We got a connector right there. You push down the little tab, unplug it. So it's got to go that way. It's got like clips here on the sides that are holding it in. So you just pull towards you and up, just like that. You can see the back of this. It has the clips there. It's got the one deal here, so that goes back in there. And then it's got bolts. So these have clips. So it's not just bolted in, it has clips too. So that's why when you pull up, you got to kind of pull towards you too. Now let me put this in the office real quick so it doesn't get damaged. So that pretty much does it for removing the spoiler. On there, it'll be reverse solder. We pop it back in. Make sure we snap these side pieces in after we bolt it. Let's bolt it all down and snap the side pieces in. Put our wiper back on. And I can show you how to do that once I tint this window. Okay, so we've installed our film. We made sure that everything, there's nothing here on the top that's popped up before we put our spoiler back in, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and grab this. And then get it up here. the holes. There we go. Remember, it has clips, so those clips have to snap in. Once we snap them in, open it up, start putting those bolts back in. Let's go ahead and plug this in. I don't know why I thought we needed to take it off. So thread those through, kind of hand tighten them. And now right here, I am going to grab my other socket, my 10mm socket, if I can find it. There it is. Because this one's a little longer, I can grab it and I could much easier like this. Taking it off, I didn't really like this one because it didn't have any kind of magnetic. I couldn't run my magnet through it. But for this, it works perfect because it's such a long threaded nut or bolt. Do the same thing here on the sides. Put these ones on. Move that to the side. Pull this over a little bit. So you don't strip them. That's why I say put them in by hand first. Because I kind of want to go in crooked. I'm going to use my other drill. It's not as powerful. Or you can just tighten them down by hand. Let's give it a little zap. Plug those two back in. Put the little clips back on there. See the clip there and there? The holes. Piece back on. Basically these hook down here into this area right here on each side, and then they grab onto here and here. Lastly, our wiper back on here. Put it down, last defroster, push it down. Down and then in. And that pretty much does it, guys. That's how to remove the spoiler 2020 CHR. Now this might go for other years on the CHR. If it has the spoiler, it should be all the same. Hey, if you have any questions, thanks for watching.